An all-in-one, this is from start to finish, of doing a pano. Yeah, this will be fun. Greetings all, and a very good morning to you. And today the plan is to do an all-in-one of the doing a pano. A different location for that one, because to start with I wanted to catch the sunrise. Hopefully I can get something really nice here today. There's a couple of ideas, so let's see how this one pans out. And yeah, I'll remember to be light. Oh dear. Right, let's quickly get to the location. This very first one, it's quite simple really, just ground's coming in from the right lower side, the horizon lower third, got some dark clouds above us, and then you've got the orange just coming across that horizon. There's a couple of boats in there. I may actually remove, I know it sounds daft, so I've just said that these boats can add to it, but I might actually remove these in the final edit, might do, because I might not want them in them yet, but we'll see a bit later on. Nice calm sea, which is what I was hoping for today. I didn't want it too rough. But then again, I did plan and I brought my filters with me, so if it was a bit rough, I could have done a bit of longer exposure stuff and smooth and ghosted out. So I weren't really too fussed, but it's how I wanted it today. So yeah, first one is, it's going to be sort of like quite dark and moody around it, and then you've got that nice light on that horizon. And the thing is as well is with, and if you look at a picture, your eyes are automatically drawn to bright things. So this should draw you to the oranges that are starting to come through across that horizon. I like it. Right, now let's pack up and get on with this pano.
There was once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room.
So, yeah, the sun has now gone behind clouds, as we can probably see over here, which is going to be rather interesting for this pano, because I was hoping to get a bit of the colour, like the oranges and the purples and stuff in the pano, but sometimes these things are sent to try us. Anyway, it's always good when you get things like this happening though, because it can be a bit more challenging to get you to, well, have to think a bit more. It's just uphill, so I'm going to be panting quite a bit. Oh God, a bit of walk up the hill that is. Anyway, so what would you do a pano? Well, the thing is, you may want to get a nice long shot. And instead of cropping it, because when you crop a photo, you're and you then zoom in, you get lots of pixels and this sort of thing. So the idea of a pano is you can get the crop that you wanted, but without actually cropping it. Does that make sense? So I'm just looking around for a place to stop to do the pano, because obviously that's not how I wanted it over there. So I'll have a bit of a look round. Anyway, so that's the whole idea of a pano, is you keep the detail in the shot that you're going to get. There's no restrictions on how long you can do the pano. And Lightroom, which is obviously the part next, as you remember, it's an all-in-one. I'll show you how simple it is to actually stitch them together. Now, a lot of people automatically think as well that the pano, you just go in a straight line. You don't have to. You can actually go across, up, back. You do as many as you want to stitch together. And there are lots of reasons why you do that. Like I say, it's all about detail. And also, the reason why I like doing the panos is, once you've actually got the pano, you can then crop sections out of it, and you're still going to retain them details, which is a shot within a shot, as they say. So you took your shot, and there's another one already in there, so you can crop that composition out. So it does have its benefits of doing panos. So I'm running out of light here to get what I want to do. But that's okay, I need to be up there. Right, let's not waffle, I need to get there quick. I've actually lost all of the light that I was hoping for this, really have. But I'm not giving up. I've just got to find the right point and the right place to do this pano. That might be nice. First thing remember when doing your pano is, once you've got your subject, and this isn't brilliant by the way, because the whole light and everything changed, but we're going to progress on. So basically what we're going to do here is I'm probably take 3, maybe 4 shots on this one. And this is of Old Harry, which is right in the distance, and then I'm going to pan across to try to get the parts of Peveril in, which is going to be to the bottom right, hopefully. And then we've got a little bit of the sea with some of the houses. Does look a little bit messy down the bottom, but there are a few boats and stuff that I'm probably going to remove. Anyway, let's get on with this. So the ideal way, or for me is a good way to start doing these, is you put your camera in to portrait, you pick your start point, you pick your end point, and make sure that you're dead level when you do this. Then the idea with this is you'll take a shot, you'll move your camera half a frame, take another shot. And it gives the software, which is going to be Lightroom in this case, a chance to stitch them together. If there are gaps, it won't work. It will just, Lightroom will fail. It will say, no, can't do it. So you always want to try to overlap your photos. So if that's your photo, the next one will be here, and the next one will be there, and so on. Hoping this is making sense. So, yes, we are manual focus, obviously image stabilization, because I'm on a tripod, is obviously turned off for this one. You will focus on, because you don't want to change your focus as you're moving around, because this is where you're going to get issues on the final photo when it's stitched them together, is that the focusing is not going to match as it goes along. If you're focused on a subject and it's slightly out by the end, it doesn't matter, as long as it blends in. There's just so much to remember to do this, and there is so much that can go wrong. Right, so I've got the first one lined up here, and I put the camera on a 2-second timer between each. And this is because you want to give the camera a chance to settle before you take the shot, and then we're going to move. Right, so the starting point I have got, and we are settings wise, let's have a look here, 30th of a second, f11, and it's ISO 100. Do not want to change any of the settings, so try and do this in full manual. And the same again, it's like I said, it's the reason because you don't want any of the light to change. And you literally don't want nothing to change, because this is where you'll see the stitching. We don't want that. So let's get on with it. There we go, that's that. So I've actually took more than I needed to, give me a chance to move about where I actually want to get that final composition. And I'm just so gutted that that light disappeared, because there was so much orange, purple, everything that was over there this morning. I am absolutely gutted. So let's get back and get these edited. So here we are in Lightroom, and apologies if you can hear crunching in the background, but the daughter's sitting over there and she's eating. So, right, here we are in Lightroom. I took the 5 images of the pano, and we're going to stitch these together. And I also did a HDR pano, because Lightroom's capable of doing that. I'll show you the final result of that one at the end. But this is the main one that obviously the whole video was about, was this particular one. So let's get into that. Alright, so 5 images you can see are at the bottom, and Lightroom is quite easy to do this, because if you just select all 5, you will then go up to where it says a photo merge panorama. And it's now it's going to do is, but this is where it's going to do a preview for you of what the final image is going to look like. Now we've got some options on here. Spherical, cylindrical and perspective. A lot of these, which one you're going to choose, is going to depend on how your pano was taken. So if your image is looking a little bit sort of strange at the end, like buildings are leaning to the left or whatever it is, like, you know, it's because of the way that the image was taken and the way it stitched them together. So you may need to play with those and have a look. The only things I'm going to say is auto crop, auto settings. And the reason is because then the auto crop is, after you stitch them together, you're going to get bits around the outside of the image which are going to be white, because obviously the way that it's stitched together, not going to align the tops properly. So let it do the auto crop for you. You can soon alter this, it's not a major problem. So yeah, let's now just hit the merge. It's going to do its bit for you. As you can see, top left corner, it's creating a panorama for you. When you actually do this in HDR, it takes a lot longer, because obviously it's going to do the HDR part of it and the pano part of it. It's yeah, it can take a while. There we go, it's done. It's now created that at the bottom there, number 6. And that's the 3, sorry, what did I do? 5. The 5 images together. And so if we zoom in, you can't really see anywhere where the stitch has happened, which is what you want. You don't want to be able to see the stitch. And this is what I say, is that when you have taken the shots, it's why you overlap them by half. So you move half frame, half a frame. And don't alter your settings, because if you alter the settings, anything from your aperture or anything like this, you're going to see a noticeable line. So make sure that when you do focus and you set your aperture, don't change them. Very, very important. Right, so that is it. That is the image done. So let's get on to doing a bit of editing for it. So editing wise, there's the past quite a few photos I've actually been using a specific technique which I'd actually seen somebody else do, and I'm going to do it on this one as well, purely because it does make the image pop that little bit more and draws you to the centre of the image. It's brilliant, so we're going to go over that in a minute as well. But first, the same as what I normally do. We'll start from the top. I'm going to work my way down. So if we have a look at the crop, you'll see, this is what we're saying about the borders on the outside, of where even though you're careful, the software itself is going to stretch certain parts of the image. Now what I could do is I could make it stretch that even more, and it would fill the whole of the outside, but I don't want to, because this is where you're going to get a lot of detail loss and you can notice it sometimes. So I'd probably say just let Lightroom do the crop for you. I am going to crop it a little bit more, and the reason is because the horizon is not on that lower third, so I'm going to crop that up because I'm not too bothered about the houses and that at the bottom, of losing parts of them, because that's just, I could go a bit further and get rid of them altogether, but I want those actually in there. But that to me is a lot better. And I'm going to also bring that top down just a fraction and move that up. I think that's looking pretty good. Old Harry's on that third there, which is where I want it. Right, so that is the crop we're going to use. Not the best in the world, I know, but for demonstration purposes. So, colour, landscape, always select your colour. Same with the white balance. Even though you do this when you're actually, or you're supposed to do this when you're actually on the location, I always still play around with them just to see which one's daylight. That just looks a bit blue. I'll leave it on. Oh yeah, I'm going to leave it on the auto. That looks okay to me. That looks fine. So let's move down. Quickly with the auto. Always use the auto. It's always a good starting point. Even though you end up changing quite a lot of it, always hit that auto. It literally does what I say is it gives you a really good starting point. Now on to what I normally do. Let's use a linear gradient on this one. Let's just get that down and on that side, and we're going to just drop that dehaze down just a tad. And the reason being is because it does bring out a lot more of the cloud, because this is the whole idea of this image, was the clouds. So it really brings them clouds out when you drop the dehaze. Don't get too mad because it just looks awful. Just literally just a touch. Texture, same again. Detail in the cloud, bring it up, and clarity just very slightly. And now you can see there is a lot more detail in the clouds, which is perfect. Just what we wanted. On images like this, I always go around, because even though you can't really see them too much, if you actually zoom in, you'll see there are a lot of buoys and a lot of, yeah, it just makes it look a little bit messy. So, patch tool or healing tool, and we're just going to go around and get rid of quite a lot of these little dots and stuff that are in the image, just to tidy it up a little tad. This is going to take a little bit of time, so bear with me. Luckily Lightroom is pretty quick. The ones that I'm not going to get rid of are the ones that are actually on the boat, but all the ones that are floating around. And this is a real important part of a process of doing your images, is removing anything that's distracting. Because it will just make, that's actually new, so I'm going to leave that one, because it will make your image look a little bit messy. And just tidying it up like this, a little bit of care. I know there's quite a lot here. It was more than I blinking thought. Oh, it might be a bit tricky. Let's see how I can handle that one. Perfect. And last few. There's nothing worse than having a real nice image and then there's always just tiny little things which, even though you may not notice, they're there. There we go. I mean, I can see that straight away that does look, I missed one. That's just a boat. I'm going to get rid of it because it does look a bit distracting and small. Yeah, lovely. That's better. So just removing just those few little dots, that you've made the image look on the sea there that little bit cleaner. Love it, absolutely love it. Right, so let's go down now to my normal task of the sharpening. Same again, it's the outlines. Hold down the Alt key, slide the mask in. That's what we're going to sharpen. Slide it up. You've probably seen me do that before. Really important, because you don't want to sharpen the whole image. It's literally just the edges of the objects. It just makes them a little bit more sharper. It is worth doing. I probably am going to do a bit of increased saturation in a minute, but I do want to change a few parts of the sky, especially on this side, on this right hand side. So not much, just on the luminance side, a little tweak, because it was a little bit more yellowy when I was there, so I'm going to bring that back out again. So a little bit on saturation, the oranges and the yellows. Not going to touch anything like the blues in the sky, as that looks pretty nice to me. These are really subtle changes, by the way, really subtle changes. Let's get that orange a little bit, especially on that cloud over here. And it also does it on the sea, which is perfect. It's really small changes, nothing massive, because I've seen it done many times before. People seem to ramp these up and it just looks horrible. Unless it was like that when you wasn't there and you want to recreate it, then yeah, fine. But if it wasn't, don't make the image false, make it how it was. Yes, you'd want certain things to pop, so you do slight adjustments to make them pop, but don't go overboard. That looks nice. We've now got that colour in the cloud, which we had. So we are going to just literally just attack a small little bit on the saturation, and the same on the vibrance. Literally just a small amount, just brings it out. Not going to do anything on the bottom. Now normally when I do this, you tend to add a vignette, and lately I haven't been adding it, but I've been doing it in a different way to just using actually the vignette, where if you go down, you'd slide your vignette over and it does draw you in. But the problem with that is it doesn't make the center pop out. So if we just reset that back to its normal, oh, we go 0. There's another way we could do it, and it's using the masking tools. Really quick and simple. So if we go down to the radial gradient and we go around, oops, the outside, let's just stretch it out a little bit, just so it's on the top and the bottom edges, literally just like that. And you'll then increase that exposure just a little tiny bit, just a little bit. You will then do the same again with a radial gradient. As we do in there. Brilliant. Invert it so it's on the outside, and then you'll drop the exposure back down. Just a little bit. There we go. So the difference being now is you've increased exposure on the centre, decreased it slightly on the outside. And so what you've done is, instead of having this dark edges, all you've done is just change the exposure slightly, and it still draws you in without having that horrible border that goes on the outside. Not saying that using a vignette is a bad idea. I just prefer doing it this way because it's more subtle as opposed to being pretty harsh. so that was it. That was the final image. I did, like I said, I did HDR one. We'll show you that as well in a moment. It's pretty much the same composition, almost. And yeah, that's it. That's the whole pano from start to finish. So yeah, I hope you found it useful. Did take a few others on the day. Going to show those right at the very end as well. And until the next time, thanks for joining me on this one, guys. Hope you found it useful. Subscribe, like, and share. Until the next time, take care, stay safe. I'll see you soon.